Welcome to the Bourbon Experience. My name is Austin. Today I'm reviewing Weller CYPB. Okay, today's unicorn review, unicorn-ish, unicorn-adjacent review, is Weller CYPB. This is the 2023 version, I believe, unless the 2024s come out, in which case it's probably 2024. But I'm not sure when these get released. Anywho, this isn't quite a unicorn, and I understand that. It is very hard to come by. It comes out once a year, overpriced, blah, 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 all that other stuff. Totally get all that. But maybe not a true unicorn in the sense of price or rarity or whatever. But, I mean, it's kind of up there. If you want to win a sample of this, and maybe I'll throw in some other Weller stuff, or who knows, stick around to the end of the video and see how to get entered to win a sample. All right, I've always had a special place in my heart for Weller CYPB, and the reason being is back in my college days, 2010, 2011, there was an interactive ad type thing that would pop up on my Facebook. It was called Craft Your Perfect Bourbon, put on by Buffalo Trace. So what you would do is you would select the recipe for what your perfect bourbon would be, how long it was aged for, how old it was, where it was aged in the warehouse, the proof. I think that was it. And I took this thing, I don't know, probably 8 to 10 times, thinking that I was designing my own bottle that I'd be able to purchase. It turned out to be, it was a big data mining scheme by Buffalo Trace to figure out what people were looking for. And the overwhelming majority chose a wheated product, aged like mid to higher up in the warehouse, and I believe around like 7 years old, something like that. Fast forward 8 years, 9 years or so, I want to say 2018 maybe, and they came out with Weller CYPB. And then when I really got into bourbon, it was the one that I had to have because I, remember contributing to this data mining scheme and wanted to see what they came out with that tasted like it. And so the reason it's a Weller product is because it's a wheated mash bill. It goes rye. I don't know if they would have done like a E.H. Taylor or something along that route, but everyone went with the wheated, or the majority went the wheater, so it's a Weller product. CYPB stands for Craft Your Perfect Bourbon. It is 47.5% alcohol, so 95 proof, and not age stated, but I believe somewhere around 7 years, and aged in the higher areas of the rick house. And so this is a bottle that I never want to be without. As you can see here, I have an empty one. I believe this is the 2020. I never want to be without one just because of the special meaning that it has to me, whether it's that special or not. But it's just one of those sentimental values that I always want to have a backup of, never want to be out of. And so I do have a backup after this one, which is good. But I guess today's theme is kind of talking about sentimental values. And, I'm not claiming or don't suspect that this is going to be like a top 10 favorite all-time pour for me, or drink as well as some of the other stuff that's out there. But it always will have special meaning to me. So that's kind of the backstory on this and my relationship to Weller CYPB. So let me get into this. Also, I don't even know if it'd be my favorite product within the Weller lineup, but who's to say? Let's see what this one's all about. Ooh, it's a really nice nose. So I'd say it is darker than some of the other Weller products, 107, Special Reserve, Weller 12. It has just like a darker oak. And then maybe there's maybe like a little bit of chocolate, but then like a blackberry. I often get a blackberry on Weller 12. Maybe a little bit of that in here too. Maybe a little bit of apple, like a green apple. which I get most often on Special Reserve. Then I get like a blackberry on Weller 12 and kind of like a strawberry Special K thing on 107. So I'd say this has a little bit of the green apple, a little bit of the blackberry, dark, like I said, the dark oak, some chocolate. Just a little bit of a perfumey thing. There's not too much of like kind of mustiness, like Buffalo Trace Weeder must, or any Weeder must for that matter. But I mean, it does smell like a Weller product. All right, let's get into the taste. Wow. For being 90, basically 90 proof, 95 proof, that's surprisingly rich and full and dark and complex. I drank Special Reserve and I drank Weller 12 as a warm-up to this. And maybe because this is a fresh crack and those other two have been open for a while. But just that 5 proof point difference between those two and this is making all the difference in the world. This, I'm not saying it's drinking like a 107, but drinks closer to 107 than 12 or Special Reserve. Second sip, it's kind of mellowed out a little bit, but there is some barrel spice on the back. There is some chocolate on the back. There's some oak in there a little bit. And then it's more of the like blackberry than it is the apple, but there's a little bit of both of those, but mainly blackberry. So, I mean, this almost drinks like Weller 12 meets 107, which people have made like poor man's pappy between those. So I'd say this is kind of in that wheelhouse. It's really good. It drinks different than what I remember with the 2020 that I had. Now as it's opening up a little bit, the Buffalo Trace Weeded Mash Bill Must is coming through a little bit. Yeah, and it's like silky smooth. I hate the word smooth when describing whiskey, but a silky smooth texture on the tongue. And then it goes to like a nice barrel spice and then oak kind of drying aspect. Not that this is super dry, but it's just kind of a nice evolution of being silky mouthfeel, then a little bit of chocolate and oak, and then a little bit of drying. Like has kind of like a grittiness that leaves you with a little bit of like a grittiness in your mouth. Yeah, all the notes I said before just kind of go all the way through. Apple, blackberry, chocolate, oak, a little bit of barrel spice. Very good. Is this a top 10 all time? No, it's not. Is it, would I prefer 107 over this? Sometimes. I think it'd be a mood occasion. I probably would prefer this over Weller 12, I would say, on any given day. But, it's mood specific. But yeah, so the main takeaway of all this is my sentimental bottle that I have a special connection to. And being objective, no, it's not the best thing out there. But for me, it's something that I have a special connection with. And I hold it in higher regards maybe than I would a different bottle that's the same quality. Or maybe what other people hold it in regards as. And I think that's a big thing in the bourbon community. Like everyone has that bottle that got them hooked on it, or that they were chasing forever and they finally got one, and maybe it's not as great as they were anticipating, but because they had that preconceived notion, or they were saving it for a special occasion, and when that occasion came they finally opened it, and so now they are just all of the external circumstances surrounding that bottle makes it to be a better bottle to them. And I think that's what this is for me. And so that's why it's getting a Monday unicorn review, even though it's, like I said, unicorn-ish, unicorn adjacent. But if you'd like to win a sample of this, and then maybe I'll throw a few other Weller products in or some other stuff, that's yet to be determined. But if you would like that, like this video, comment what your sentimental bottle is, let me know, and subscribe. This is a really new channel. I'm learning as I'm going, but I am trying to grow it. So these little giveaways kind of help with that. And I like sharing whiskey. I think that's kind of what the bourbon community is all about. And this is just kind of a two birds, one stone scenario. But as always, the bourbon experience is all about good pours and great times with whoever you're with. Whiskey's meant to be enjoyed, so crack those balls. Cheers.